Thank you. One response that we think could be a game changer would to issue a good jobs policy. An executive order that's going to ensure that every dollar of New York City Sandy's aid and all the other publicly subsidized projects to create jobs with family-sustaining wages. Will you commit to that?
Yes, I think that's something we need. Because look, what happened in Sandy is the biggest natural disaster the city has ever sustained. You know, because it hit some parts of the city so intensely and other parts were untouched, it doesn't get talked about the way it needs to, but it was the biggest disaster we ever sustained. It is also bringing with it something we have to somehow make a blessing, which is this federal aid. The federal aid becomes a blessing if we use it well, if we employ local people, and if we pay them a living wage. It begins the process of addressing the inequities in our society. We didn't ask for Sandy. We wish we never met Sandy. But let's take this aid and make it into something that starts to remake this city in the name of equality and decency.
Thank you. Thank you. As we conclude, we'd like to ask you if you'd be willing to make two commitments to the organizations that are gathered here tonight. Number one, will you agree to participate in a tour of Sandy impacted communities in the next month with leaders of faith in New York and all the allies, and hear firsthand the challenges that still face our residents, our small businesses, and all that's there? And number two, if you are elected mayor, will you agree to bring your top staff into a working session with leaders of the faith community, and we can begin now a dialogue with faith community and our allies within the first 60 days of your administration, so that we can begin to turn our goals and strategies for making families more resilient into a more concrete plan of action?
Yes, immediately to the tour. I spent a lot of time in neighborhoods affected after the storm, and I want to know exactly what people are experiencing now. So yes to the tour. On the question of convening after the election, absolutely yes. And not just on Sandy. Let me be clear. The city government has long ignored the fact that communities of faith leaders, charities based in faith communities, are carrying a huge burden in the city, yes, but also have a lot of the best ideas of what we can do.
Thank you.
And it's time that gets brought into City Hall. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Before you leave the podium, Mr. de Blasio, would you take the time to go downstairs? There's about 400 folk that's waiting to see you down there. Please give them a shout downstairs. Can you welcome, amen, again, our public advocate, Bill de Blasio.
Thank you, everyone. God bless you.